Good afternoon or good morning, everybody. Welcome to Buy the Rumor, episode 2. We've got Christine here, and look, we just jump right in. Christine, you've already got the coffee. We are ready to jump into this thing. How did you feel like it went last week, episode 1? I felt like it went pretty good since we don't know what we're
I,
doing, really.
I think it went well. Just a few tech hiccups, but it's okay. That is going to be our worst episode we'll ever have. And
It
then
will be.
as we progress, it's going to get better.
Which, by my math, if that was our worst episode we ever had, then we are about to give everybody our best episode we've ever had, right? So this is going to be the
Right.
best.
Correct. And I'm still getting through all the technical stuff, but it'll get there, guys, and then it'll be perfect.
Then it'll be perfect. That's right. That's right. We've got a lot to talk about today. I feel like, Christine, since last time we talked, and we'll get it on the rundown, we had a Bitcoin or a crypto bull run and a crypto crash all within the last 7 days that I've talked to you. So things are moving, man.
Yeah, I know. So how do you feel about it? And then I saw something where they saw somebody put go long right before the announcement of we're going to have a reserve, a digital currency reserve for the US. And then that same person went and did a short right after. And they're like, that's interesting.
Yeah, lots going on. Okay, you're jumping ahead though. Let me go
Ah,
right into the rundown here. So, in case everybody doesn't know how this works, here on the right side of your screen is topics that we're going to go over. We'll go over all of those topics. I'm interested to hear about romance scam, so that should be interesting. Right after that, we're going to go into Christine's corner. Christine's got something that she's been cooking up that she wants to talk about to deal with RFK Jr. Then we're going to talk a few birthdays, some birthdays that's happening today of celebrities. It's always fun to kind of talk about that. Then we'll go into my segment called Voice Lessons, where I am going to talk about the NAT token, a token that was created on the day that Bitcoin was created. And if I've got question marks above your head, well, I'm going to do my best to explain. I'm still learning about it as well. So just remember that everything we say in here is not financial advice. Christine and I are just learning just like the rest of you. So we'd probably be horrible people to get financial advice from. So listen to us as entertainment, listen to us as sometimes informative, but always do your own research. With that, let's start this timer right now. I'm going to start with Bitcoin. Bitcoin, is it close to bottoming? There's a fund called Fundstrat, a guy named Tom Lee. He suggested that Bitcoin is nearing its market bottom following that big 10% dip and the recent U.S. job data that came out. He still says he's bullish on a year-end target, Christine, 2025, a year-end target of $150,000 for Bitcoin. Has he lost it? Have we seen the top, at least locally? Is $150,000 by the end of 2025 completely loony, or is there a chance that it could actually happen?
I don't think it's loony at all. Like I believe that we will see 150,000 for Bitcoin. I don't know if it's going to be at the end of 2025, but them trying to look into Fort Knox and actually count those gold bars and how whatever the outcome is of that may make Bitcoin zoom up to 150,000 or more. I am a firm believer that it's going to go to like a million. So am I loony?
I mean, aside from this, yes, you are, but I don't know if it has anything to do with this topic. No, here's what I've said for a long time. I think Bitcoin's going, like you said, a million. However, I think it might be different than what you think a million is right now. Let's say they go into Fort Knox and it turns out that it's just bricks that have been, spray painted
Spray
gold.
painted. Yeah.
Right, which is what Elon kind of joked about a little bit. Yeah, let's say we don't have that, and all of a sudden the dollar value goes down. I'm convinced that, we've printed money for so long, we're going to have to pay the piper for that at some point. I'm also convinced that Bitcoin only has 21 million Bitcoin that'll ever be created. And because of all this, yes, I think Bitcoin could go up to $150,000. I don't know about year end or not, but I think it could do that. I think it could get to a million, but it might not be the $1 million that you think it is. Okay. It might be a very watered down $1 million because the US dollar is less. So, yes, I agree with you, Christine. You may be loony, but you're not loony for this. I do think it may be going to $150,000. I don't know about the 2025 thing though, but again, I'm an idiot. Don't listen to me. I mean,
It
yeah,
just depends what happens, like something. Look at we have passed 100,000, and then it just depends, like on the news, like what the rumor is, and then people will lean in and buy. And institutions are definitely more open to buying crypto, especially now. Like we're creating a digital currency reserve. If all banks stepped in, um, as well as federal, I think it very well could just be surpass 150,000 at the end of 2025. It's not that.
indeed. But don't jump topics yet, okay? Because
My
I
bad.
see you're looking ahead to Trump crypto reserve, and we will get there. I understand your excitement, but yeah, you gotta pace yourself, okay? You
My
gotta.
bad.
All right. So next comes crypto crash. Okay, over the last week, we saw $80 billion wiped out in 24 hours. Okay, cryptocurrency market experienced this dramatic downturn. It has a brief surge where it soared up, where over the weekend, we had Trump say that he was going to create this strategic reserve, and all of a sudden, it's really all us degens, right, that we're able to buy in because we know the institutional money, they won't do anything if it's not Monday at 8 a.m. So it goes way up. Then yesterday, we're all prepared to, oh man, here comes that institutional money that was waiting for Monday morning. And no, it didn't happen. It completely crashed down to where it started. And then even before that, I know, Christine, you were made for this roller coaster, okay? You were built different, you're made for it. But is Joe Blow? Oh my gosh. That was such good timing too. Whenever I was talking about how you were just built different, and all of a sudden you put on the sunglasses. It's awesome. I kind of want to tell you to leave those on, but anyway, I'll leave that up to you.
I'm just gonna leave this on.
We'll save that for the birthdays here in a bit. If you are built different and you can handle the ups and downs of the crypto market, can everybody else? Because it seems like most of my timeline is a little upset of what they're seeing of the ups and downs of it, and maybe people are getting, I don't know, just getting a little tired of the roller coaster of it all.
I think what separates us like learning about, becoming more seasoned in investing and trading crypto is understanding that the market is going to go up and down. And, there's nothing to be scared of. And I think from what we've learned with past history and how investors work, they lean in when people are scared instead of running away. And I think that's what we always have to remember.
I think it's a manipulated market. I think it was well known that whenever Trump put that out, that we were going to see this big rise. Now, who knows if I thought it was going to keep on going? We read a book, okay? If anybody that doesn't know, Christine and I did a book club for a full year where we read almost a book a month for longer than a year. And one of them was an introductory to volume price analysis by, I think, Anna Cooling. And it was great. And it talked about how you can see in the volume of the bottom of all our charts there, how you can see the manipulation happening. And whenever that manipulation happens, that's whenever we have to be able to read what's going on, read the tea leaves, read the volume bars, and be able to make correct decisions on that to see how it's being manipulated and then how we can take advantage of that. Check out that book. But I heard that little ding tells me to move on. So let's talk a little Ethereum. Ethereum's grappling with really big challenges right now. Christine, you've told me before that you thought Ethereum would go to $6, 7, 8, 9, $10,000. Lots, big money. And I've been a little bearish on Ethereum, and my reason is because of transaction fees. Like every time we have a big bull market, people are start saying, "Oh, the gas fees of Ethereum, they're getting too big." And to me, if it goes up to $10,000, then we're going to see the gas fees go up even more. I'm a little bearish on Ethereum, but I do love it. Loved my NFTs back whenever. I've still got many of them because they rugged. Can't get rid of
What
them.
are those?
Yeah, you remember those exactly. So, Christine, are you still bullish on Ethereum? I guess is my ultimate question.
Absolutely. I am completely bullish on Ethereum. I think that's my top three, I would say. And I know the gas. prices, like the gas costs are a pain in the butt and it's a huge headache to all of us. But once they really fix that and hone in on fixing that, I think Ethereum will. I used to say it'd be 10,000.
You
There's
did.
my loony bin ideas again.
Yes, yes. Your looniness is showing again. You may want to show some dignity and cover up a little bit. Yeah, I do think. Okay, I love Ethereum. I love that it's the cryptocurrency computer, if you will. People are building off of Ethereum. I love all that. I don't want to take away from that. However, I just think that transaction fees, there's a reason that Solana has done so well over the last few months. And to me, it's because transaction fees were so easy. However, one of the good things about Ethereum transaction fees is you see fewer scams on there because you actually have to have a little buy-in to transact on that chain. As to where Solana, it's nothing. It's no time, no money. Put your scam out, put your rug out there, go to pump.fund, make you an easy rug, and that's what people will do. But Ethereum, I feel like there's just a little more buy-in, and maybe that helps out people to I don't know, take it more seriously. So there are advantages in that as well. All right, moving on. I griped about this last week. My timer, I've got to figure out it. Sometimes it makes it to the 0, and other times it just resets. So that time it reset. I actually
Yeah.
watched it happen. But
Oh, and I never hear the ding. So
oh, okay. Got some
we're
things I need
figuring
to.
it out. We're figuring it out.
Yeah, got some things I need to figure out. All right, you mentioned this a while ago. The Trump crypto reserve. Let me just, without putting any type of ground laying work on this, what did you think whenever you saw that he wanted to put in the crypto reserve over the weekend?
I thought it was probably one of the best things I've ever heard, like
So,
as far as crypto with him.
what about because he mentioned some different coins, and it wasn't just Bitcoin. He mentioned Cardano, he mentioned Solana, he mentioned Bitcoin, of course. Secondarily, he had to come back and say, like, I love Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah,
What did you
that
think
was like
about the
a
other ones?
quote retweet. Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, you better say that.
Yeah, but what did you think about him? I'll pick on Cardano for a bit. Why did he include Cardano in that? Why did he include these other coins whenever I think Bitcoin is what people were wanting him to say?
You know what? I don't know. And I had the same question. I was like, Cardano, huh? And I have nothing against Cardano. I was surprised and I was like, maybe Charles spoke to him before and he likes what Cardano is. I don't know, but it was like I was shooketh. And then
You
he
were
said,
shook.
Solana, and I knew Solana because he used that for his coin and Melania's coin, right? So
Yes. We should have a whole other, maybe I'll do that on voice lessons someday. I'm gonna give some thoughts on him releasing and Melania releasing tokens. Crazy, crazy stuff there. As far as the strategic reserve, including things other than Bitcoin, gosh, I'm running. See, there's the timer. I feel stressed now. Did you hear the ding on that, Tom?
no,
Yeah.
I didn't
Oh,
hear it. And then I'm still messing with my video because it looks blurry. I look blurry. Do I look
you
blurry?
do. You do. You do. You look like your camera is a potato instead
Yeah,
of a
that's
landscape
why I'm like,
camera.
what is happening?
Well, either way, let me just say this. Bitcoin, there's only going to be 21 million. There's a finite supply. Some of these other tokens have infinite supplies, basically. And because of that, I think that the strategic reserve should only include Bitcoin. I'm glad he put out that message, but I think it should only include Bitcoin for the sole reason of we know how many tokens there will ever be out there. I don't think we can say that for other tokens. And to me, that's a big reason. All right, got to go to the next one. Let's move over to the romance scam. You're not going to believe this one, Christine, but a Nigerian man, is this a count the red flags? Okay, you can get like bing whenever you hear one. A Nigerian man has pleaded guilty to a $3 million romance scam targeting elderly Americans. Okay, and the case highlights the growing issue of online fraud and its impact on vulnerable populations. Christine, as the digital landscape gets bigger and bigger, and we see a rug every day, we always want everybody to join in our crypto little world here. Aren't we worried about these scams getting bigger and bigger and the dollar value getting bigger and bigger? But are vulnerable, our romance scams. How are we supposed to fix this? These people just want love and instead they get a rug.
I feel like we've all gotten some email that's like a scam from Nigeria or somewhere, and they're like, I'm a prince and I'm stuck somewhere, like please, like this, whatever. I think we have to get better, right? But the thing that I think we have to get better and wiser at just discerning what is a scam and isn't. The thing is, I think a lot of the people that do get scammed are like the older, like senior
Yeah.
citizens, which is so sad. But as um our government and the world's government start accepting crypto as, they normalize it, I think they're gonna increase security on that. And I don't know what could be done
Well,
to help that.
the reason this is on here, because almost every topic that you and I have on here, Christine, it's because it has something to do with either the stock market or the crypto market, the financial markets. So that's the reason this is on here. I'm concerned that the overall arching theme here is we won't see any growth in this space, in the crypto space, as long as it's so easy to scam people. And it's only going to get easier because I've got this video of you here that's like looks like you're shot on a potato here. I can now recreate this video here of you and have you calling, your grandmother saying, "Could you send me $50?" And she's gonna believe it. I'm sorry. It's just gonna happen
Oh, I know. I have a story too. How long do we have? Let me see.
as long
Um,
as you want.
I have a story of one of my aunts. She thought she was dating Keanu Reeves because like it was a scam. I hope she doesn't watch this ever because she's gonna get embarrassed. But yeah, she thought she was dating him and he was like sending her, I don't know. And then he was like, I'm in the hospital, like I'm sick right now, and this and that. And then of course it led to, hey, like, do you think you could like wire me money or something like that? I'm like, that's
Wait, you
what?
stopped. You said he was sending her. What was
It was like
Keanu Reeves sending
jewelry.
her?
I think it was
Oh,
like jewelry, but it was like, had to be like
he wasn't pictures of any part of Keanu. Okay,
no.
checking, just checking. Neo may be sending some very. Actually, I think Keanu Reeves isn't he the guy that whenever he takes a picture with a celebrity, he'll like put his arm around her waist, but he won't touch her waist. Have you ever seen that?
Yes. He puts his arm around, but he doesn't touch them, even on their shoulder or anything. He's just like
He's a careful guy. I love Keanu.
safer. Safer.
But wouldn't you think if you were the scammer, wouldn't you choose somebody that would actually touch a girl on the hip? That would seem more. I don't know. It worked, right? So I guess it worked in this case. I
Uh,
feel I feel
I don't know.
sorry.
I like Keanu, and I think he plays it safe, and it's better that way.
No, no, yeah. Keanu plays it safe. Love what he does. All right, let's go to the next topic: tech stocks. All right, so we were told that whenever Trump came in, and you and I may have said this, that whenever Trump got in office, we were going to see stocks take off and potentially even the tech stocks take off, but they have not. Since he's taken office, the tech stocks have seen a 7% decline, driven by trade war uncertainties and inflation fears. Christine, are you feeling this? You live out in California where inflation is always a fear, right? So have you seen, even you paying attention to the stock market, do you feel like this tariff issue, this trade war that we're in with every other country, is starting to really take an effect on particularly tech stocks?
I think it is taking effect, but it was whether Trump won or not. I feel like we were seeing the economy and stocks kind of, it was moving up and down depending on what was happening and what was on the news. But economically, I feel like we're crashing. And that whether he came in or not, we were gonna see a decline in everything because we need to fix everything first. And I think he is like putting in what like the tariffs, he's putting in all these new laws in and what we have to do. And I don't necessarily think it's because of that tech stocks are declining and crypto's taking a dive, everything. I think it was going to happen no matter what. It does pertain to what he says, but I think it was going to happen no matter what.
Yeah, if you will remember, now this was on Spaces, not on By the Rumor, but I used to say that I thought the economy was going to kind of have a little bit of a correction, if you will, right? And I thought that was going to happen regardless of who won. At the time, I probably says if Biden stayed president, because I didn't know this whole Kamala mess was going to happen. But I had thought no matter what, we're in for a correction because we just been printing too much money the last few years, and you got to pay the piper eventually. I thought that would happen, and I thought if the Democrats stay in office, then they would be like, at least we're in office. At least we're still in office. And I thought if the Republicans were in office, then the Democrats would then be like, ha, see, as soon as you took office, it crashed down. But I've been under the mind that we'd probably have a pretty severe correction no matter what. So we may be seeing that. And unfortunately, it may get worse. This tariff war may put a little gas on that. But in the end, it doesn't if it works. You know, if this tariff thing makes our companies start building things in America and making jobs come in America, then yes, then this whole tariff war ends up working because it will make it to where anything we bring in, it comes at a tax, and we also maybe incentivize our businesses to actually build here on our own American soil. Right? I got that right? Give me a hell yeah. No, I'm kidding.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, there. Boy, that sounded Texan. That sounded really Texan of you. All right, let's move on to the next one, the last one, AI conferences. Now, Christine, you and I have been to plenty of Web3 conferences, and it ends up being the same thing, same people, same parties every time, always funded by the Web3 Mint that just went on that was going to rug, 2 weeks later. I know we've seen that exact same thing happen where a party will go on, and the next thing you know, that's the last you ever hear from the founders of that community. But this is AI, and there's a big AI and big data conference happening in 2025, and they're saying there's going to be all this research, there's going to be all these advancements that are happening. Is this going to be the same thing? And you've been to other conventions too, Christine. You've been at tattoo conventions, right? Is it always the same thing where it's the same thing every conference that you go to, or is AI conferences going to be different? Will investors want to invest in the AI space after going to one of these conferences?
Uh, I feel like we need to get better. Like we need to get 10 times, 100 times even better at these conferences for investors to come in. Because I do think that obviously AI is the future. We're in the future now, and it's just going to get better and better. But for investors to really step in and take these companies or startups seriously, we need to do 100 times better at these conferences. I feel like we've had this conversation where I feel like it was all parties, and I'm like, what'd you learn? What did I learn?
100%. And look, the Web3 events that I've been to, I've enjoyed. I've been at Vegas with you. We went gambling together. It was fun. I don't know that it advanced the Web3 space any, but I had a good time. And I don't know if the AI conferences are going to be very similar in that fashion or not. Here's what I think. I think AI, as far as an investable sector, is a huge, huge opportunity. And I think if you find the right one to invest in, then you could do very well in your portfolio. But also, there's going to be some bad actors out there, and you've got to be careful with that. So if you're investing in AI, do some research. Certainly don't listen to me. I don't have any tickers to give you for AI, but I do think the future is in AI. Whether we're talking Web3 with AI, I've seen it, where I've seen DeFi. I don't know if you've ever seen it written like that, but having the AI component inside of DeFi, I do think all of that has big, big, big applications and maybe investable applications, but be very, very, very careful out there. I don't know. You ever invested in Nvidia? Is that one of the stocks that you
Oh,
keep track of?
absolutely. I'm not an investor in Nvidia, but I would. And I've thought about it multiple times. Like, I should just start buying that and sitting on it. I've traded it though, like long and short, but Nvidia is a great company, and I think that they have a bright future ahead of them. And that is my advice is for all of us to invest in Nvidia. I think that we'd end up making some money there.
Well, they definitely have a corner of the market. I want a 5090 GPU, and I can't get one because they've had some issues. So I don't think it's affecting their stock price, but I don't think they care whether I get a 5090 or not. But I want one so I can do cool AI things like build this little thing that we've got here that shows all the topics on here. That was built by AI. I'm not smart enough to code that, but AI is. All right, here in a little bit, we're going to have my voice lesson segment where we're going to talk about the NAT token. Make sure you look forward to that. We'll look forward to some birthdays and talk about whose birthday in the celebrity world it is today. But first, We have Christine's Corner, and check out this intro. It is absolutely the best. Right? Why didn't it play?
Christine's Corner, where the buzz is hot. Crypto trends or the latest pop plot. From gadgets that glow to stars in the sky. If it's on her mind, you know it's gonna fly. So plug in, tune in, let's take that ride.
Welcome to Christine's Corner. I love that intro, and I'm not going to stop loving it, and I don't apologize for loving it. Me and that intro are in a serious relationship, and I love it. Christine, will RFK Jr. make America healthy again? Tell me the info. Educate me.
So I feel like he's a hot topic right now, right? And then we could go around asking people that we know, like, hey, how do you feel about RFK? And everyone feels some type of way. And majority of people, I think it's his association with this administration, they just automatically write him off. And they're like, I don't like him. And then the main thing I hear is, oh, he does Zyn, which is like those little tobacco pouches. And they're like, how can he do Zyn, but he's trying to tell us how to be healthy? Like, that doesn't even make sense. And, he did drugs when he was 14 or something like that. And he
Okay.
did this. And what's up with his voice? All this stuff that doesn't really like convince me otherwise that he does have our best interest as a nation to be healthy because his points that he makes are valid and he is speaking out on things that I think a lot of people want to address and want answers from big pharma or just our government, and people are too scared to address it, and we actually have someone there that's addressing it and wants accountability, and then people are just fighting him so much just because he's part of this administration or he got appointed. So that's what bothers me, but I do believe that he's going to make um us healthy again and then put better standards, like, and we're gonna just be better. And who cares if he doesn't?
Well, I was going to ask, did you see in the confirmation hearing where they're asking him, and there's one scene where he you can see, kind of opens up the little Zen container and just kind of puts it in. You got to check that out if you didn't see it. But he put in a Zen right in the confirmation hearing, and I will admit, okay, me and my judgmental self, I thought couldn't go without that just for the confirmation hearing. You couldn't maybe just go through a little withdrawals right there, but I don't. Never been a smoker. I don't know what nicotine withdrawals would be, but maybe he'd worry to get like too sweaty or something right in the middle of his confirmation hearing if he didn't. But
I feel
yeah,
like he was trolling it. Like for him to do that, he was almost trolling it. And you having a, you know, background in medicine, nicotine isn't necessarily a bad thing.
well, certainly it can have effects, but it is addictive, right? Certainly it can
Right.
have effects that maybe could help with alertness or something like that. But it is addictive. Also, I want to mention it wasn't Zen. I believe Tucker Carlson owns like some sort of pouch type of thing, and that's what
So
he
it's
was having.
similar. Okay,
Well,
so
it's
he uses his now.
right. It's not. I just want you to know this is this is Republican nicotine. Damn it. Okay, this isn't just regular run of the mill Zen. This is Tucker Carlson Republican nicotine, which is inherently better, I would think.
Okay. Well, I think he's probably a brand ambassador now for Tucker
Yes.
Carlson's Zyn version of the nicotine pouches. But I believe he has a best interest in our health as a nation. And then for people to call him out and be like, he doesn't even have a degree in health. Like, how could he be telling us anything? And I'm like, really? Because there's multiple people that have been appointed that didn't have a background or degree in medicine or health that were had their input in everything.
Yeah.
So,
I've got no problem with him not having a degree in it. I do want him to have like some educated people, even with a degree, around him. Right? It's like if I'm a NFL team and I have a new head coach that's never been a head coach before, I want him to surround himself with coordinators that have kind of been around the block before. Same thing with RFK's position. I want him, who's obviously never had this position before, obviously never been a doctor in an office before or anything like that. I would like him to surround himself with some very intelligent people. Now, the problem is, I'm worried, you can tell me because you're an RFK follower, I'm worried the RFK followers hear something from somebody with those last letters of MD and immediately dismiss it as, well, that's big pharma talking. Do you dismiss something if it comes from an educated, medical person? Let me ask that.
No, absolutely not. I think it becomes more valid, but I would like to know what their background is and are they in Big Pharma's pocket, and kind of like a puppet for them? Because there has been where, you have MD, but you don't have the best interest in our nation's health. It's more of your bank account.
Yeah, I completely get that. And look, I have a distrust of the medical community sometimes myself. Even being in the medical community, I still have some distrust of them. However, sometimes there's a line to you kind of have to toe, and you kind of have to use some discernment. For instance, okay, let's talk COVID-19 vaccine. I'm jumping right into it, right? At the time, everybody was like, oh gosh, I'm ready to get back to work. I'm ready to just jump into things again. Okay, fine, just hit me, like pull up their sleeve, give me the jab. And then you've got other people that are like, hell no, there is no chance I'm taking that. And RFK, I believe, doesn't he speak like that because of a vaccine injury, correct? Right?
Yes, he
Yeah.
does speak that way because of a vaccine injury. And then that makes sense on why he's such an advocate on, hey, what ingredients are placed in here? And can we space them out, or can we take out certain things like aluminum or whatever it is? And is it necessary for it to work? And a lot of people, I think, are looking at him like he wants to eliminate vaccines altogether. And I don't think that he's ever said that. He just is questioning all the ingredients that are in the vaccines and the vaccine schedules. Like, are they able to be spaced out? Do we actually need this one to be mandated, for children? And do we need aluminum or formaldehyde in there necessarily?
I've got mixed feelings on this because I do believe that vaccines for children are important, right? I
Mhm.
also, here's the mixed feelings. I also feel that small government is important. I don't like mandates, right? I don't like things that you have to do because of the government.
Right.
But I could literally fight with myself over this because there are vaccine preventable diseases, right? You've seen in Texas, there's a measles outbreak right now, and it's amongst the unvaccinated that you're seeing that. So yes, I do believe in vaccine preventable, diseases.
Right.
That I do believe in vaccination for those. Let's not be dumb. We have a long lifespan, longer now than we had 100 years ago, and it's a lot because of vaccines. So there are a lot of good things to do with vaccines. I'm not one to say, oh, all vaccines are evil, but I am one to say, let's just slow down, especially with the new ones. With COVID, we knew that they were rushing it, right? And we also knew that the companies that were creating these vaccines knew that they were going to make big bucks off of it. And they did make big bucks off of it. But now, I think they want to keep that cash flow going. And if they could, they would probably mandate another round of COVID-19 vaccine, which I know wouldn't go well, right? Everybody
Yeah.
doesn't want it now.
It definitely seemed experimental in the way of, here's my conspiracy on that, is like it was very experimental in who they can convince and force to do it without a fight. And I think they could see now that I think most people will, because they don't want to lose their jobs, or the fear mongering of it. And I wish that it came about in a better way, but yeah, I think what it showed is that they can convince the world to take something that, is kind of like, we don't really know, but we're willing to take the risk to not get sick,
What about this is
right? Hold
different.
on.
Okay, do what you need to do. So, because I have a question that I want to ask about beef tallow. He's changing everything, not just vaccines. He's also trying to change what our French fries are. What our French fries are dipped in. As far as for when we fry them. So, moving to beef tallow. I don't know. You keep up with this more than I do, probably. What else is he wanting to do? He's wanting to change how we fry our French fries. He's wanting to change our vaccine schedule. What else has he got planned for us? What's he gonna make me do or make me not do health wise?
I know that they had a list of like people's favorite snacks that he was like, we need to get rid of that. And people are pissed. And
Uncrustables, right? He was gonna
yeah,
take
it
away
was
our Uncrustables.
Uncrustables. There was a bunch of chips on there, like just a bunch of things. And I was bummed on a few of them, but it is what it is. Like if they have findings that it has direct links to people getting sick, we just have to get over it. Are we really going to cry about it, you know? And then you see a lot of these same snacks in other countries, but these companies make different ones for them without the ingredients that are directly linked to people being sick, which is wild to me. Like, why can't
Yeah,
we have the Canada version or the Japan version?
you know, we can get into the Canada version. A good friend of ours, Lake of Wales, one time sent you and I some Canadian candy, right? No tariffs were on it at that point. But yeah, you could see on the back of them, and they definitely put it differently. I will say, being somewhat of a sciencey person, sometimes you could see like, oh, this is kind of the same thing as what we have. They're just saying it in a different way, and it looks like less ingredients, but it's kind of the exact same thing as what we're having. So there are some things that maybe look worse, but he is doing something like the red dye, right? Didn't he take that out of our foods? Didn't
Yes.
RFK already do that? Get this. I know this. That red dye was already nixed from cosmetics, and we were okay with that. But then we're like, oh, don't take it out of our food. So it couldn't be in your makeup, Christine, but it could be in your SpaghettiOs, and
Right.
that's a problem, right? That
But would we have a problem if it wasn't RFK in this administration? Like if we were
yeah.
in the last administration and someone, our last health person that we appointed took it out, would we have such a problem? And I don't think we would. Like this administration is such like they're under a microscope for every single thing that they do, and I don't think it's the same energy throughout um across the
I
board.
I
It's
feel confident. The last Health and Human Services person under the Biden administration would have gotten the full support of the Democrats, and that's all I'm gonna get into
Yeah,
that.
me
That's
too, because that's all I'm gonna get into with that is just same energy across the board, guys. And because we could both see, a lot of us will see that it would not have been. And can we list the last administration's health appointee? Like, can we list anything that they did to help or not help, and then us critique them? No, because no one cared until now, which is wild.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. It's funny I mentioned SpaghettiOs just now because in my household, SpaghettiOs seem to be a highly purchased item, and we couldn't find them the other day, and immediately it was thought it's because of the red dye. It's because of the red dye, right? So then get this, Christine, I had to buy it's like a bunny type of it's some sort of organic type of SpaghettiOs, right? It's got a little bunny on there. It may be called Bunny. I don't remember, but it's supposed to be this organic, nice one. Gave it to my kid. I was like, "Hey, you want to try this? It's a different kind of SpaghettiOs." He took one bite. Awful. It's awful. I don't want that. The red dye is what gives it the flavor. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna have a little SpaghettiOs issue around here. Once I did buy them all up the other day. Obviously, I don't care about the red dye because I bought them all up. But they're gonna run out eventually, so we're not gonna have them eventually. But yeah, red dye is going away, and RFK is gonna make us all healthier. I'm interested to see where it goes. I'm not one that's scared because he doesn't have a degree or anything like that. I do want him to surround himself with degreed individuals, and I do want him
Of
to listen
course.
to them.
Of course.
Yeah,
And
and so you're on the same page then.
yeah, absolutely. And then our last one, just to, double check, I was like, did our last health person have a medical degree? And they did not. So I'm like, what the heck? Like, it's so focused on that. And
Wait a second,
she
the last person
she didn't, hers
they
was like a
did
law
not.
degree.
Okay, interesting. I didn't realize that. And I also don't remember any hubbub about people freaking out about that like they do with RFK. So, and he's such a hot button too. His last name, He was a Democrat. He's a lifelong Democrat. Now he's working with the evil, hated Trump administration. There's a lot of moving parts here of why RFK Jr. is such a hot button. All right, with that, Christine, great Christine's Corner. If y'all didn't see last week's, she told us why we shouldn't be in a relationship with wild dolphins. So go check that out. Christine's always got something good for us. But now, a segment we do right in between our two segments, and that is birthdays.
Woo!
Where's your birthday hat?
Oh yeah, I'm getting it.
Yeah, get that birthday hat on right now. Well, today is March the 4th, 2025, and there's a lot of birthdays that we need to talk about and talk about what's going on. Love it. Now, is that a birthday hat or is that a slice of pizza?
I think it's pizza. I don't know.
It clearly is a pepperoni pizza. But today, let me ask you if you've heard of some of these people. You ever heard of a certain Jessica Biel, who is 43 today?
Oh wow! Happy birthday, Jessica Biel. Yeah, I remember her from what show is she on?
Seventh Heaven,
Yeah.
right? And then also married to one Justin Timberlake, right?
Yes, we
Right.
love the Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, exactly. So Jessica Biel, once voted by People Magazine as I think the sexiest woman alive, something like that. I'll let you decide whether you agree with that or not. But I do believe she does hold that title before. So I like
Wow.
her. We
Yeah,
seen
I
her
like
recently. She holding up okay?
Yeah, she looks
Here.
the same. She doesn't age.
Okay. I mean, 43, sure. I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, she's born in 82. And she was in The Illusionist, The A-Team, and Total Recall, which I'm assuming that is the remake of The A-Team and the remake of Total Recall. Next, I was unfamiliar with this actress's name, but I was familiar with her work. Julie Bowen. You ever heard of Julie Bowen?
No, who is
How
that?
about Modern Family? She plays Claire Dunphy on
Oh,
television
yeah.
comedy Modern Family, and it's earned her 2 Primetime Emmy Awards. I have watched Modern Family before, but I know more of, Al Bundy that's on there, and Phil Dunphy, her husband, on there. So I'm familiar with her work. How about, have you ever heard of this guy's invention? Apparently he's an inventor. He's 178 today, or would be 178. It's Alexander Graham Bell.
Oh
Familiar
yeah.
with his work?
Yes.
Can you imagine if I told him what was going to become of his telephone 178 years later?
He would flip his lid because what? Like it's gone from just point A to point B, and we have like the tiniest little phones, and it all came from his idea.
You're right. He's credited with inventing the first practical telephone. He also founded this company, American Telephone and Telegraph Company. You know them as AT&T. So there's some. Is that an investment potential right there? Because it's Alexander Graham Bell's birthday. You should look into, going long on AT&T. That doesn't seem like good.
AT&T. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know if that's good advice or not. Here's one. Yeah, the voice told me it was Alexander Graham Bell's birthday, so I'm long on AT&T. No, next one. One of the biggest trades around the Dallas region, Herschel Walker. Do you know who Herschel Walker is, Christine?
Why does that sound familiar?
Well, he's a politician and a former running back for the Cowboys. One of the biggest
Wow.
trades. I'll say the second biggest trade that's ever happened in Dallas. Herschel Walker was traded to the Minnesota Vikings for lots of draft picks, ended up in Dallas winning multiple Super Bowls because of that. He later was running to be the governor of Georgia. So yeah, that's where you probably have heard of him, because that's like 2 years ago.
Okay,
That this happened. And
that's probably why. Happy
you know-
birthday, Herschel.
Happy birthday, Herschel. Do you know what the number one worst trade that's ever happened in Dallas history is?
What?
It's Luka Doncic traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. That happened about 2 weeks ago, and it's the most stupid, one-sided. Anyway, if you want to get a Dallas person going crazy, mention Nico and mention Luka Doncic, who now
Yeah.
resides right near you. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
One last one, birthday. Perry Ellis. Has Sam ever wore some good Perry Ellis before? I know I have. Perry Ellis is a designer and You might find his craftsmanship over at Dillard's or something like that.
Or Burlington Coat Factory.
Yes, yes, at Burlington Coat Factory. That's right. Says he's a fashion designer and sports warehouse in the mid 70s. His influence over the fashion industry has been called a huge turning point because he introduced new patterns and proportions to the market, which was dominated by more traditional men's clothing. So happy birthday, Perry Ellis, who is 85 years old today. Glad to celebrate with him. And that is it. That is birthdays for today. Until then, let's talk about something that I have been really, really wanting to talk about. Let's talk some voice lessons real quick.
Voice lessons.
Voice lessons, you'll hear it loud and clear. Tech and crypto wisdom, the truth is here. Big thoughts, bold moves, cutting through the haze. When the voice speaks up, you'll be amazed. So listen up.
I love it. Are you ready for voice lessons so much that you put on your graduation cap?
Yes.
Love it. Love it. Love it. You are more ready than I am. I don't even have, here, let me get my window. Put a little better here. There we go. Yes, so the NAT token. I've been talking about this, or I've been looking into this for some time. You're not going to believe this, Christine, whenever I tell you the story of the NAT token. If I told you it was born on the same day Bitcoin was born, first of all, what is your reaction when I say that? How do you think that's possible?
I'm like, how did we not know that?
Okay, good question. Good question. Next, if I say it is a non-arbitrary token, let me just explain that rather than ask you. Whenever you create a token, whenever you create Christine Coin or something like that, that's an arbitrary token, right? You've decided to make it. You've worked with a developer to release it. You've put it on pump.fun. That's an arbitrary token. This is a non-arbitrary token, so you will hear it called NAT, just N-A-T. Oh, you know what? I've got to fix my my lower third here. Just a second. What was going to say? I was going to say, you are NAT ready. There we go. Here we go. So it was built into, with every transaction in Bitcoin, there is something called a bits field. Okay. So Christine, you're very familiar that whenever I do a transaction on Bitcoin, that there's all kinds of technological wizardry that's happening on the blockchain that includes this random bit that has to do with the difficulty for miners called the bits field. Okay. What they have found, to me, this is genius. This is really cool to me. What they have found is that in that bits field, there are repeatable patterns. Okay. So let's just say occasionally, made up numbers here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And occasionally we'll see that same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 within that bits field. Well, what they found is when they find these repeating patterns, that basically makes it to where it's digital matter, right? If you were going into, I saw this great video the other day where it talks about here on Earth how there's repeating patterns of different elements that make up, if I get salt and I get chloride and I put them together and I make sodium chloride, right? Sodium and chloride put together. That's a repeating pattern. You see that over and over again in biology. Well, in the digital world, in Bitcoin transactions, we also see these repeating patterns that come up with. They've been able to make those repeating patterns into its own coin, okay? So now, that's whatever I mean. It was built in whenever Bitcoin was first built, and we didn't even know it. So now you've got literally, I'll call them NFTs, but they like to call them ordinals. They're basically made out of the repeating pattern within every block that's made. Well, here's what's even more interesting. Right now, Christine, why would I mine Bitcoin? What would be the incentive for me to mine Bitcoin?
The incentive would be that you would make money.
Boom, boom, right there. Yeah, I would get the block reward, right? So if I find that block, right, and it's my mining farm that finds that, then I get Bitcoin, right? Now, the halving, what does that do? What does that do to the block reward? Whenever we have the halving every 4 years, what does that do to that block reward?
It ends up going up, right?
No, it goes down by half.
Oh, it goes down.
Yeah, it goes down by half, right? So every time we get excited because we're about to go in another bull market and we half our block rewards, well, the miners then they're getting half of the income that's coming in. And this is going to continue to happen until eventually, are they going to get enough? Are they going to be able to have enough of an incentive to continue to mine Bitcoin?
That's
Well, what
right.
the NAT token is looking to do is augment what they are getting. They're going to use this token that's already there, okay? And they're going to start giving this to the miners where they will have, of course, their Bitcoin mining reward, but they'll also, and this started happening literally last week. I believe it was block number 885588. It's something that's like palindromic like that. They're going to start getting this reward as well. So NAT token is something that is created by Bitcoin, okay, itself. It's literally in the bits field of Bitcoin. It's not it can't be rugged, right? Because it's not like somebody created this that has all the liquidity for it. So that's a good positive. And also now it's getting a community behind it that realizes that, wow, this could be actually have a use case to help secure the network to go right to miners. And all of a sudden it may be speculated on. Because here's the problem, Christine. Whenever finally, years and years and years, decades from now, we mine all of the Bitcoin,
Right.
it's been thought of, well, why would anybody then run a miner then to even run these blockchain transactions? And the answer was, well, they'll get transaction fees that will pay then at that point that will make it worth. But you know as well as I do, Bitcoin really isn't transacted like this, right? It's not like I'm going to go buy Starbucks with my Bitcoin and there's all these transaction fees. Now it's more of this store of value thing, right? We say to hold. That's what everybody's saying, just hold. So everybody's just holding on to the Bitcoin, and it may not be the amount of transactions that maybe Satoshi thought would be the case to be able to secure the network at that point. Maybe it will be. Satoshi, no doubt, is a smarter man than me. But the idea of this NAT token would be to use what's already created on every block of Bitcoin that's done. So you get a block every 10 minutes. And the idea would be that for every block that comes up, NAT token would be made and now given to the miners as an incentive reward in addition to what they're already getting with their block reward that they're already getting. So with that, I'm going to open up to questions to all that are in the class. I see you are wearing a mortarboard hat. Do you have any questions about that? And I may not be able to answer them. I'm just learning about this myself. But don't you find I'm really excited about this token because it's really unique. It wasn't created by anybody. It was already there.
Yeah. So I was looking up NAT while you were schooling us on that. And so how would we invest in NAT? And like how much is NAT currently?
I'm glad you asked. So, if you go to Ordinal's wallet, which, from what I'm understanding, the Ordinal's wallet has been instrumental in helping out the group, which is TAP, that has been putting this together. Not TAP like a person that you and I know, but another group. They are actually, the Ordinal's wallet has really worked instrumentally with making it where you can buy this. It's got a very low market cap. It's like 5 million. And I think the holders here, I wrote it down here, it's 23,000 holders that they have right now. And you can buy it from there. It's almost like an auction type of buy where literally somebody's selling it and you're buying it. It's not like when you're going out and buying something off an exchange where there's a big liquidity pool
Okay.
yet. Now, there may be at some point. But there are many people that think, wow, you've got a community behind this. You've got a really interesting origin story here. This whole origin story of it started on its own. It was created by Bitcoin itself. That's a really unique and cool story. And it's really starting to get a lot of good pub behind it. There's a podcast called The Block Runner. Okay, you should check that out. They really talk a lot about this. And I believe those guys were instrumental in finding this repeatable pattern and then being able to, do the work that it would take to be able to get it to where we, somebody like you and I could get this. Now, just to be clear, okay, because I feel like I always want to be transparent, I have went out and bought some NAT myself. I do own some myself. So I never want to be like, oh, I talked about it. And then, I made people that listen go and buy this. I talk about this. I did buy it. You can't be given any. That's what's great about this token. This isn't where the founders of the token can go and buy influencers or anything. There is no founders. It was made by Bitcoin itself. So because of that, if I wanted it, it wasn't like look for some brand sponsorship deal. I went out and bought some. And so I do have some of this. I hope it goes up. Let me talk about some bad things about it. Okay.
Okay.
Here, and these aren't necessarily bad, but I want to be critical whenever I get a chance to. First of all, it's called DMT, Digital Matter Theory / NAT token. They need to workshop that. That is not a good name. Okay, I understand that it's a digital matter theory and non-arbitrary token, and it's really good. It's kind of like NFT is a bad name for NFTs. Okay, I don't like the name DMT NAT. So guys that are running this, find a marketable name. Okay, it's too late. I get it, but nonetheless, I don't like the name. I don't feel like it's very marketable. Call it like minor reward token or something like that. Something better than that. My next thing, and maybe this is, I say that first one a little in jest. This next one is an actual concern I have, is whenever this block reward of NAT goes to the Bitcoin miners, what are they going to do? They're going to sell it, right? They're going to sell it, which will put downward pressure on this. So until you can find an actual use case where people either A, want to hold it for a store of value, which they may, and you get some sort of meme coin activity out of it where there's some buying pressure, you've either got to find some utility or somehow be able to craft a way where people want to buy and hold this. Otherwise, you're just going to see only sell pressure and no buy pressure. Now, I know from looking in, they just created a Telegram this week that they do have some plans to kind of make this happen. Because there are, like I said, there are some people that are trying to promote this token, even if, like I said, it wasn't created by them. So it's on the Bitcoin network, obviously. There's a lot of cool of this digital matter theory, Christine. They've made, call them NFTs or ordinals that are merely made from the bits data of each block. It is a really unique, I've been dying to talk about this because it is a really unique token that is created out of thin air. It doesn't have a founder. There's no one there to rug. And because of that, it's got me excited. Now, if I've said anything, I'll say this to the NAT community because I know some of you are in here. If I've said something wrong, please correct me because I'm still learning about this. I'm still trying to figure this out. So, anyway, Christine, what do you think? What do you think of this token? How many billion tokens can I put you down for?
100,000.
Love
No,
it.
I really want to invest in that too. That sounds really cool and the way it came about. So is it 245 currently?
Uh, oh, as far as how much is? Well, let
Yeah.
me look. No, I think you might be looking at something different. There is a stock that is NAT, so be careful you're
Okay.
not looking at that.
Yeah, that's what I want to be careful of. Like, how much is it currently so I know how much or which
So
one it is?
if I go to ordinalswallet.com, which I would suggest that you do that first, because if you do that, it shows the leaderboard on a collection, and it shows the number one spot is Tap DMT NAT.
Okay.
Okay. Again,
Okay.
it's an awful name. It just is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But if you look at it, it's sold by Sats, and it looks
Okay.
like you can get 60 billion of them for 0.00023 Sats. Okay, of each of them. It's weird whenever you buy coins off of Bitcoin, you get them in bundles. So you can see different amounts here in US dollars. Some of these bundles are $1,100, $1,000. Here's one for $311, but that's 0.0000032 sats. So if you want a smaller amount, you may have to spend more per. But take a look at it. I wouldn't suggest buying anything with it until you really understand it of what you're
Right.
buying, because it's confusing. It is confusing at first, but I think the more and more familiar you'll get with it, if you look on the right, you can see the sales activity, and I can see that people have been buying this all throughout the day. There's not a whole lot of activity on it yet. And I'll say this is what's really cool. The community is really behind this, and you have to know what you're doing to buy it. So whenever they finally do get a liquidity pool kind of put together, and that's what they're trying to kind of figure out, how do you do this whenever you're not the creator of the token, right? They're trying to figure all that out. And whenever they do that, I think then you can see more transactions happening, and hopefully it's just easier to buy. So it's a real you can see I've got a I'm aroused here, Christine. It is sorry, why did I say that? It's really an exciting thing. It reminds me of like the early days of Bitcoin, where people are excited about something that isn't really taken a hold of yet. So that's why I bought in, because I was like, wow, this reminds me of, obviously when people were buying Bitcoin in the beginning, it was hard to do. It wasn't easy to pull off. It wasn't easy to go out and buy. But those that did and held on, well, they've done pretty well now, obviously. So this reminds me of that same sort of scenario. Now, will the miners take advantage of this? I don't know. Why wouldn't the miners want an extra reward? As of last week, that reward is actually being sent to the miners. Okay, and you can see that on their website, which I believe. Let me say what this is. It is NGM. No, it's NAT. NATGMI.com. Get it? It's like not gonna make it, but instead it's NAT gonna make it. Okay. Yeah,
Oh my God.
funny people out there.
So many potential memes and jokes.
Oh, I'm telling you, if you'll read into this community, everything is you're NAT ready and you're not ready. Yeah, you're NAT this and NAT that. But take a look at natgmi.com, and when you do, you can actually see each block that's being mined, and it shows how many NAT tokens are in each block that's being mined. One thing that's interesting is the number is going down. So as the block reward goes down over time, that means NAT tokens are going down over time, which is also cool whenever you think that now we have a diminishing supply, right? Because that's always what we're worried about with other tokens, is whether they have a mint function on their token or whether there's an infinite supply, that sort of thing. Well, this is a diminishing supply and a diminishing amount released to people over time. So you can see what pool mined the block and actually how many NAT tokens they are given over time. So it's really cool, Christine. You can see I've got a nerd boner over here, and
Yeah, you
I don't know
do.
what to do.
Well, so where do you see Nat in 5 years?
I see that the liquidity pool issue is taken care of. I don't know whether I'm saying I see or I hope, but I see the mining pools being able to use this as an additional source of income. I see that people get excited like me, nerds like me get excited and start buying and holding this, and then the miners start holding it as well, making not quite as much sell pressure as what I was worried about. So I see the sell pressure issue being taken care of out of a frenzy of people trying to get in early. So after that, they're going to have to kind of go and they're going to have to find some kind of utility for it. I do believe that, but I don't know about 5 years, but I do see this liquidity pool issue being solved. And once they do solve that, well, the market cap that they have right now could really shoot up after that. So I won't get into any numbers of market cap, but I'll say it could get plenty high. But again, that's all speculation. You look great in your hat, by the way.
I just graduated learning about NAT right now.
Right. Well, you did take place in voice lessons. So yeah, that was pretty good. I want to try something real quick. I want to see if I can pull this off here. Oh, good. I've already got it on here.
There you go.
There it is. Why is it so small? I don't know if you can see that, but do you see how it says 0.00032 sats on there? Matter of fact, can I refresh that? Because that might be old data. Well, now you can't even see it. Never mind. Yeah, I know. Anyway, yes, you are NAT ready. And yeah, check out the NAT token, because in my mind, it's just really cool. The origin story is really cool. I don't know whether it's going to take off or not, but it's got me really excited about it to look at it. So obviously, whenever it's like, oh, what am I going to talk about this week on voice lessons? I'm like, well, I got to talk about what's on my mind. And what's on my mind right now is the NAT token. Just like for you, I know RFK Jr. and Dolphins are always right on the outside of what your brain is thinking of. For me, it was NAT token this week. So
love it. I love it.
Awesome. I have unfortunate news. I am not going to be here next week. So we're not going to have episode 3 next Tuesday. It's because I'm going to go to Arizona and check out spring training. I'm a baseball fan. Whoa, what was that? What was those little lines? That was cool. What does that mean? Does that mean you're moving? Is that like a, or is it
I
like a
don't know.
superhero? I don't know what that
Yeah,
means.
because I don't know.
Yeah, you look like an angel, like radiation. There's like
Yeah.
light emitting from you or something
And
like
then it
that.
says, huh? Do you see that? It says, huh, on the side.
No, I don't see that. Here, let me go to another. Let me go to the Christine. Oh, no, I still don't see that. Anyway, yeah, I won't be here next week, so we won't be able to do the Tuesday show unless you and I, if we talk offline, I guess we could record something and then put it out there. But yeah, that is always a possibility. But yeah, I won't be here next Tuesday. We'll be here the Tuesday after that, and then we'll keep on going with this thing. We have 187 people in here, so we are growing.
Yeah.
That's
Love
good.
you guys. Thank you for putting up with this. We're really new and we're still trying to figure it out. I promise things will get better.
Yeah.
This is already better than last week. Just my camera is weird on my computer now. So the next time we're on here, which is in 2 weeks, I'll probably go buy one because I don't know if just this thing is cracked or what. It's a
Yeah,
potato.
we'll figure out. We'll get you more of a high def look from there. Yeah, I don't know if it's just the camera that's in your laptop or what, but
Yeah,
you're right. It is a little more pixelated than even on your phone because
right.
before we got on, you were doing this on your phone, and it was rather clear. So
Right.
who knows? Who knows? Who knows? All right. Well, that is all I've got for this week. Christine, in 2 weeks, like the markets are going to move like crazy. We're probably going to have a bull run, a bear run, and two more bull and bear runs over that time.
Right.
So strap yourself in over the next 2 weeks. It's going to be crazy.
I shall. And you guys don't freak out when, you see these huge dips. It's either
Yes.
we're just patient, or if you have extra money and you want to invest in, like, the biggest thing that we see is when people saw Bitcoin go to 100,000 is like, oh man, I should have bought more. So it's like if it's either you freak out and buy a little more if you have some extra cash, or you just remain patient because, it is what it is.
It's one of those things where, whenever it was 100,000, people are like, man, if it was 85,000 again, I would have jumped in. I would have
Yep.
jumped in. And the
Yep.
next thing you know, it was 85,000. They're like, I ain't getting near that. That's stupid. This thing's going to zero, right? And they're going to say the same thing whenever it goes up after this. So, all right, guys, it has been fantastic. Love doing this show. I really, really do. I still don't have an outro, Christine. I've got this idea. I'm going to use AI. Tell me what you think of this. I
Okay.
want to have an outro where it shows you and I can do this with AI without us having to do
Okay.
anything, walking away from like an exploding car and like putting on sunglasses or something like that. Like we
Oh,
just,
that'd be cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
like we just crushed whatever it was behind us, the show that was behind us, and we're just like doing the slow walk from an explosion. I'm going to work on this. I'm going to work on this. AI can do anything. I can just superimpose our faces onto
I
it.
love that.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Or if we don't like that, that meme with that dog or cat that's sitting in on that table and he's like, everything is fine and
Everything's
the
fine.
house is burning. We could do something like that where both of us are sitting
Or
at the
like at a
table.
table. I love that. We need both of those. We need both of those. I'm going to work on that and see if I can do that. AI makes me feel like I can do anything. So I'll see what I can do. All right, guys, great show. I'm going to end the stream, and then let's meet in 2 weeks and do the same thing again. Till then, peace.